Centuries ago, when the galaxy was young and full of hope, humanity had many friends among the stars. The alien races saw humans as curious, emotional, and sometimes chaotic, but also brave and full of heart. Together, they formed alliances, traded knowledge, and shared dreams of peace. But everything changed the day the Great Collapse began. The collapse was a cosmic disaster, an energy storm spreading across star systems, tearing ships apart and breaking communication networks. Many civilizations panicked. They fled to safer zones, abandoning anything that slowed them down. And among the things they left behind was Earth. Humanity watched as their allies, once called brothers and sisters of the stars, escaped the danger and vanished into the black sky. Some humans begged for help. Some cried. Some screamed at the rising darkness. But no one came back. In those final moments, the galaxy made a silent decision. Humanity was too small, too weak, too slow to save. It was better to leave them behind. For the rest of the alien races, humans became a forgotten chapter of history. Many believed they would not survive. Others believed they would destroy themselves in fear and chaos. A few felt guilt, but they buried it deep, refusing to think about the past. Years turned to decades. Decades turned to centuries. And the galaxy moved on. But Earth did not die. Humanity refused to vanish quietly. At first, life was full of pain. Without help, humans had to rebuild society alone. They had to face the collapse's consequences head-on. Food shortages, blackouts, storms, and radiation waves made life harsh. Many lives were lost. Cities fell. Old technologies failed. Yet, something powerful lived inside humans, something the galaxy never truly understood. Resilience, creativity, hope. Humans started building again, slowly, carefully, but with determination. They used scrap metal from fallen satellites. They used old data archives. They used their imagination. They experimented, failed, tried again, and kept moving forward. They did not expect rescue. They did not wait for allies. They became their own strength. Generations later, humanity started to evolve. Not in body, but in mind, in culture, and in technology. Alone in the dark, they developed new kinds of machines. Not loud, not violent, not aggressive like the war fleets of the old galaxy. Their technology became soft and calm, smooth like flowing water, beautiful like art. Their energy systems became silent. Their engines produced no heat trails. Their medicine became gentle and painless. Everything humans made carried one message. We can grow in peace, even in darkness. In underground labs, hidden deep under old mountains, scientists crafted strange new inventions. Devices that could heal wounds in minutes, engines that could run for centuries without fuel, and communication tools that could send messages through empty space without losing a single word. People started calling these creations miracles of the dark. But these miracles were not built for war. They were built for survival, and for hope. Humanity changed, not into conquerors but into guardians of their own future. They learned that suffering could create strength without hatred. They learned that loneliness could create unity. And they learned that compassion was not weakness, it was power that no weapon could break. Meanwhile, in distant star systems, the rest of the galaxy slowly began to whisper. Space explorers claimed to detect unusual signals coming from the region where Earth once existed. Traders talked about strange energy patterns, too stable to be natural, too gentle to be harmful. Some said humans had built cities of light under the oceans. Some believed humans created machines that cured death itself. Others laughed and said humans probably destroyed their own world long ago. No one knew the truth, but rumors continued to spread. Old alien historians found damaged records that described humans as stubborn survivors. Engineers remembered the strange way humans could fix anything with simple tools and incredible creativity. A few elders spoke softly, ashamed of how their people had turned their backs on Earth. Still, no one dared to return. Fear and guilt held them back. But deep in the shadows of forgotten space, something remarkable was happening. Humanity had begun to look outward again. Silent ships drifted through the void, almost invisible to scanners. Their designs were unlike anything the galaxy had seen before, sleek, smooth, and glowing with soft blue light. These ships did not carry weapons. They carried knowledge, medicine, and strange new technologies. They carried mercy, not revenge. And someday, though the galaxy did not yet know it, humanity planned to return. Not to punish. Not to demand justice. Not to rule. But to show the universe that the species they abandoned had grown into something extraordinary. Something powerful. Something gentle. Something unforgettable. The galaxy abandoned humans once. But humanity learned to rise in the dark. And soon the stars would witness the miracle they created. For centuries the galaxy remained silent about Earth. Most alien nations convinced themselves that humans were gone forever. The younger generations didn't even know the name Earth. To them humans were only myths, tiny creatures from a forgotten blue world. But on an ordinary day inside the Zereth Central Observatory, everything changed. The observatory was one of the galaxy's most powerful scanning stations. It sat on the edge of a golden nebula and watched the quiet regions where the Great Collapse once happened. The scientists working there expected nothing unusual. Their job was normally slow, monitoring empty space, recording dust movements, counting meteor trails. Then suddenly one of the scanners beeped. A low, deep beep. A sound no one had heard for many centuries. At first, the technicians thought it was a malfunction. But when they checked the panel, their hearts froze. There was a signal coming from the dead zone. A signal that should not exist. A signal carrying a pattern older than many civilizations. A human signal. The lead scientist, Lorene, stared at the glowing display. Her voice shook as she whispered, "This code, it's ancient Terran. This is a human message." Panic spread across the observatory room. Scientists rushed to see the data. An old officer ran to activate encryption systems. Someone dropped their datapad in shock. Humanity, once abandoned, once forgotten, was calling again. But this was not the strange part. The strange part was how the signal behaved. It was calm, stable, precise. It pulsed like a heartbeat, soft, constant, peaceful. It carried no threat, no demand, no anger. Just a single repeating pattern. We are here. We return with peace. Requesting communication. The galaxy was not ready for this. Within hours, the signal reached the Galactic Council headquarters, a massive ring-shaped station floating above a blue star. Leaders from dozens of alien races gathered in a panic. Old memories returned. Old guilt returned. Old fear returned. They remembered the day they left humanity behind. Many of the council members had never seen a human. They had only heard stories passed from their grandparents. Humans feel too much. Humans break too easily. Humans are unpredictable. Humans would hate us if they survived. And now, a human signal was back, stronger, clearer, and strangely beautiful. In the meeting chamber, the council fell into chaos. What if they want revenge? One leader hissed. What if this is a trap? Another shouted. They should not have survived. It is impossible, cried a third. Some suggested sending war fleets. Some suggested hiding. Some suggested ignoring the message completely. But no one had the courage to answer it. While the council argued, far away in deep space, something even more shocking appeared on scanners. A ship. A single, small human-made ship, smooth like polished stone, glowing with soft blue light. It moved without sound, without fuel trails, and without distortion waves. Every alien sensor that touched it malfunctioned for a moment, as if the ship was too advanced to measure. The ship carried no weapons. No armor plates. No aggressive signals. Yet the energy inside it was strong enough to power a planet. The galaxy had built giant war cruisers, monster dreadnoughts, and dark matter engines. But they had never seen technology like this. A nearby patrol fleet spotted the ship and panicked. The captain of the alien patrol screamed orders. Do not approach. Do not provoke. Stay back. But the human vessel didn't behave like a threat. It slowed down. It activated a gentle white light. It sent another message, requesting peaceful contact. The patrol fleet held position, trembling. Back in the council chamber, everything stopped when the human ship's image appeared on the big screens. Every representative stared in silence. The ship was beautiful, elegant, calm. Nothing about it said revenge. Finally, an elder alien, one who had lived during the Great Collapse, stood up. His voice was cracked and heavy with regret. We left them behind, he whispered. We abandoned them when they needed us most. And now, they return with open hands. The room fell completely silent. No one wanted to admit it, but the truth was clear. Humanity had grown. Humanity had advanced. Humanity had survived without them, and surpassed them. The aliens had feared humans would rise as monsters. Instead, they rose as something far more dangerous. A civilization that mastered power without hatred. And that terrified the council more than any weapon. While the galaxy argued, the human ship continued its calm journey. Inside, a single envoy watched the stars. He wore simple clothing, no armor, no crown, no rank badge. His mission was simple. Return. Observe. Offer peace. His face held no anger. No bitterness. Only quiet curiosity. As he approached the council's territory, he sent one final message. To all who hear this, we forgive the past. We seek only understanding. Let us talk. These words shocked every species who heard them. Forgiveness? From the civilization they abandoned? How could this be possible? Some aliens wept. Some hid in shame. Some refused to believe it. But the truth was undeniable. Humanity had returned. Not as victims. Not as conquerors. But as something the galaxy had never seen before. Something stronger than war. Something gentler than peace. Unmatched mercy. The council finally responded with trembling voices. Human envoy, you may land. But no one knew what would happen next. Would mercy truly guide humanity? Or was something deeper hidden behind their calm smile? The first contact of the new age had begun. Fear spread through the Galactic Council like a cold, invisible wave. The moment the human ship entered council space, every species felt the same tension, deep, heavy, and painful. This was not because the ship looked dangerous. It was peaceful, glowing softly like a drifting star. But its presence reminded the galaxy of something they wanted to forget. Their betrayal. Hundreds of years ago they left Earth behind. They convinced themselves it was the only choice. They convinced themselves humans wouldn't survive. They convinced themselves that abandoning one small world was better than risking their whole fleets. But now that small world had returned, and the galaxy had no idea what humanity had become. Inside the council hall, the leaders sat around a massive circular table. Their faces were pale. Their voices cracked. Some tapped their claws nervously. Some flicked their tails. Some shook so much that their chairs vibrated. The president of the council, a tall alien with shimmering blue skin, tried to speak, but her words came out weak. Why are they here? No one answered. Because everyone knew the truth. If humans wanted revenge, the galaxy had no defense. Not against the soft, silent power inside that human ship. Not against the calm confidence in the human voice. Not against the strange mercy the humans offered. In a dark section of the room, General Korshak, a massive reptilian warrior, growled deeply. His species was known for strength and military pride. His people had fought many wars. They feared nothing. But when he saw the human ship's energy signature, he felt something he hadn't felt in decades. Helplessness. This must be a trick, he shouted. Humans hide their anger. They hide their weapons. They come to punish us when we are blind. His words made several young council members panic. One asked, so they are here to destroy us? General Korshak slammed his claws on the table. They should be. We left them to die. Any species with a heart would seek justice. But another elder spoke quietly, maybe they grew beyond hate. The general scoffed. No one grows beyond hate. He paused. No one, except maybe humans. The room fell silent. Meanwhile, in the observation dome above the council station, crowds of aliens gathered to watch the human ship. Families held their children close. Soldiers stood in defense positions, hands shaking. Scientists whispered to each other, unable to believe what they were seeing. How is it moving without engines? Why can't our scanners measure it? Why does its light feel warm? Some aliens even said the ship made them feel calm, as if it carried a soothing energy. Others said the light made their hearts beat slower, steadier. But fear still ruled their minds. One young alien asked his mother, "Are the humans monsters?" She hugged him tightly and whispered, "We don't know anymore." As the ship approached the landing bay, alarms rang across the station. Not as a threat, just to warn the citizens that contact was happening. Every hall, every corridor, every platform was filled with guards, diplomats, and nervous spectators. The landing bay opened slowly, and the human ship entered like a floating pearl of blue light. It landed softly, without noise, without smoke, without pressure waves. The bay remained silent. Every alien watched the single door on the ship's side as it opened. A figure stepped out. A human. Not wearing armor. Not wearing a mask. Not carrying any weapon. He looked ordinary, soft face, calm eyes, simple clothing. But the way he carried himself made the entire crowd step back. Humans had changed. Not physically, but spiritually, emotionally, mentally. The galaxy saw it instantly. The human envoy scanned the faces around him. He saw fear, shame, confusion, guilt, and he understood all of it. His voice was soft, almost gentle when he finally spoke. "Thank you for allowing me to land." The words echoed in the silent landing bay, shocking everyone. No anger. No accusation. No bitterness. Just simple gratitude. A council member stepped forward, trembling. Are you here for punishment? The human blinked, confused. Punishment? No. Why would we punish you? The aliens exchanged terrified looks. The human continued. The past is gone. We survived. We grew. We came to share knowledge, not conflict. This only increased their fear. Because mercy from someone powerful is more terrifying than rage. General Korshak stepped forward, growling. Why are you not angry? We abandoned you. The human looked at him with calm, steady eyes. You abandoned us. That is true. But we chose to rise, not hate. The general staggered back slightly as if hit by invisible force. Humans were not supposed to talk like this. They were supposed to blame. They were supposed to demand justice. They were supposed to rage. But this human showed none of that. His kindness felt sharper than a blade. In the council chamber, after escorting the human envoy inside, the leaders tried to speak, but fear made every word heavy. Human envoy, what do you want from us? The human replied, understanding. What do you plan to do? Help. Why have you returned? To reconnect. To share what we learned. Every answer made the alien hearts beat faster. The human spoke truth with such peace that the council members felt exposed, like their guilt was glowing on their faces. The president finally whispered the question no one dared to ask. What if we do not deserve your mercy? The human smiled softly. Mercy is not a reward. It is a choice. Those simple words struck the entire council like thunder. Because in that moment, they understood the real reason humans were terrifying. Humans had mastered compassion. And compassion in the hands of the powerful is the greatest force in the universe. The aliens were afraid not of human weapons, but of how small they felt in front of human kindness. And the fear had only just begun. The Galactic Council expected demands. They expected anger. They expected the human envoy to list every sin, every betrayal, every year of abandonment. Instead he offered help. Real help. Gentle help. Unconditional help. The aliens did not know how to accept this. Many did not even know how to react. The day after the human envoy's arrival, small devices began floating out of the human ship, tiny spheres of light, smooth and silent, like drops of pure energy. They drifted across the landing bay, scanning the station walls, the air vents, the floor panels. At first the guards panicked. They are drones, one shouted. Weapons, another cried. But the human envoy raised a hand calmly. They are repair units. They will fix your station. Within seconds the devices began their work. Light beams scanned broken cables. Holographic arms reshaped metal. Cracked walls repaired themselves like healing skin. Air filters purified polluted air. The temperature stabilized. In less than 1 hour the entire landing bay became new, cleaner, smoother, stronger than before. The aliens stared in silence. Their own engineers had been trying to fix these same systems for months, and humans solved it in minutes. How did you do this? Asked the stunned technician. The human envoy replied softly. We learned to build things that heal, not destroy. That sentence alone shook the station. Later that day the human envoy visited the council medical wing. This place was normally loud, machines beeping, doctors rushing, patients crying in pain. But the moment he stepped inside, everything paused. Doctors watched him carefully. Guards tightened their weapons. Patients whispered in fear. The council medical director, a four-armed alien with tired eyes, stepped forward. What do you want to see here? The human diplomat studied the room, then said something simple. I want to help your sick. The director frowned. What? These patients are not human. The envoy smiled gently. Pain has no species. Those words felt like sunlight in a dark room. The humans released more small devices, this time gentle medical drones. They flew over patients, scanning them softly with blue light. The devices hummed with peaceful tones, soothing the patients' minds. Some aliens cried because the sound reminded them of lullabies from their childhood. One device hovered over a child with a rare illness. The child's father watched in fear, gripping the edge of the bed. The human envoy knelt beside him. She will be fine, he said softly. How can you know? The father asked. The device glowed brighter. Within seconds the child's breathing became steady. Her eyes opened. Papa. I feel warm, she whispered. Tears streamed down her father's face. He looked up at the human envoy, trembling. What did you do? The envoy placed a hand on the father's shoulder. We healed her. Our technology restores cells. It removes damage instead of replacing organs. No more pain. The father sobbed quietly, overwhelmed. Around the room, more patients recovered, broken limbs healed, diseases vanished, wounds closed, fevers cooled. Every bed became a miracle. Every healed patient became proof of human mercy. No alien medic had ever seen technology like this. Some fell to their knees. Some wept openly. Some stared at the human envoy with disbelief. They had come to fear the humans. Now they feared something else. How could a species so abandoned still choose kindness? Meanwhile, across the station, human repair units continued working. They repaired power cores, purified water tanks, restored worn-out machinery, and even cleaned old ventilation systems. The council technicians followed them in awe. One young alien engineer whispered, "They do not fix parts, they make them better." Another added, "They do not use force, they use harmony." A third said in a trembling voice, "They do not act like a species abandoned. They act like a species reborn." The more the aliens watched, the more confused they became. Why would humans give so freely? Why would they help the very people who left them to die? Why would they repair a galaxy that once turned its back on them? The council eventually gathered with the envoy again. This time their voices were quieter, more humble, more sincere. One councilwoman finally asked the question they had all been hiding. "Human envoy, what do you want in return?" The envoy looked surprised. "Nothing." "Nothing?" she repeated, shocked. He nodded. "We grew in darkness. We built a culture around support, not trade. Around healing, not power. We don't measure kindness like currency." Another council member whispered, "But, how can you trust us after what we did?" The human envoy closed his eyes for a moment. "Because if we cannot forgive the past, we will never change the future." Those words hit the aliens harder than any weapon could. It was not human power that frightened the galaxy now. It was human character. Humans had become something the galaxy didn't understand. A species that suffered, but chose hope. A species that was abandoned, but chose mercy. A species that grew powerful, but stayed humble. This was more shocking than any human technology. By the end of the day, the council station looked completely new. Medical bays were healed. Machines improved. Air purified. Energy stable. Every part of the station carried a soft glow of human craftsmanship. The galaxy expected the return of a vengeful species. But the humans returned with gifts, with compassion, with mercy stronger than revenge. And every alien, from soldiers to diplomats to children, began asking the same quiet, fearful question. If humans can show kindness after such pain, what else are they capable of? The galaxy had no answer. But they were about to learn. The galaxy still did not understand humanity. Yes, the humans had healed the sick. Yes, they repaired the council station. Yes, they spoke kindly and acted gently. But deep inside every alien's heart, one thought remained. How powerful have humans truly become? The question stayed unanswered, until the storm came. And when it came like a monster from the void. It began as a small reading on the council sensors, an unusual energy wave forming at the edge of the system. Nothing dangerous at first. Space storms were common. But as the minutes passed, the readings grew stronger, and stronger, and terrifying. The storm expanded like a living creature, swallowing stars, cracking the magnetic fields of planets, and ripping apart small asteroids like dry leaves. Alarms rang all across the council station. Emergency. Cosmic storm inbound. Energy levels rising past safe limits. Shields cannot handle this. Evacuation protocol activated. Chaos exploded through the station. Families ran through the halls. Soldiers grabbed their weapons even though weapons were useless. Engineers panicked as the shield strength dropped. The council members shouted orders no one could follow. The storm was too fast, too strong, too massive. Within minutes, it would hit the station, and billions of lives across the system would be in danger. In the middle of the chaos, the human envoy stood completely still, silent, calm, listening to the deep hum of the storm. One council guard grabbed his arm. "You need to evacuate. Now." The human shook his head gently. "No. We will stay." "We?" the guard asked, confused. At that moment, dozens of small human ships uncloaked around the station. Silent, glowing, peaceful. No one had even known they were there. They floated like stars coming to life. Then, even deeper in space, something huge appeared. A massive human vessel, shaped like a crescent moon, soft and radiant, emerged from a ripple in spacetime. It didn't make a sound. It didn't disturb space. It looked more like an angel than a ship. Aliens stared at it with wide eyes. Is that a warship? No. It has no weapons. Then what is it? A guardian, maybe? The ship released a wave of light that washed gently across the system like a warm breeze. Every creature felt it. Even children stopped crying. Animals went quiet. Machines stabilized. Human technology was singing. The storm rushed closer, now a raging wall of fire, lightning, and dark energy. Alien fleets tried to stand against it, but their shields cracked instantly. Not even the strongest warship lasted more than a few seconds. The council leader stared at the storm in horror. "This is the end," she whispered. "No one can stop this." The human envoy stepped forward. "We can." The entire council turned to him in disbelief. "You? A single species? You cannot be serious." The human simply raised his hand, and the massive human crescent ship responded. It moved ahead of the storm, slow, graceful, fearless. Small human ships formed a ring around it like glowing birds. Alien scanners showed something impossible. The human ships were linking their energy, forming a single barrier. Not a shield made of force. Not armor made of metal. A barrier made of stabilized harmony energy, something the galaxy had never even imagined. The storm hit. All at once. A wall of destruction slammed into the human barrier. The light around the ships rippled. The storm screamed. Space shook. Time fractured. Alien ships watching from a distance disintegrated instantly. But the human barrier held. The storm pushed harder like a roaring beast. The barrier softened, bent, shimmered, but did not break. Inside the council station, aliens watched the impossible unfold. How can they hold it back? Our strongest shields break in seconds. This energy, it's not force-based. It's almost peaceful. Human technology did not fight the storm. It redirected, absorbed, and calmed it, like a gentle hand quieting a wild animal. Slowly the storm began to shrink. Every second was a miracle. And the aliens realized the truth. Humanity's strength was not born from anger or vengeance or dominance. It was born from peace, unity, compassion, and evolution in darkness. Humanity had found a way to turn harmony into power. A power stronger than war. Stronger than destruction. Stronger than any fleet in the galaxy. When the storm finally dissolved into harmless light, the human ships gently lowered their barrier. Soft waves of energy rippled outward, healing damaged satellites and restoring weakened systems. The crescent vessel glowed quietly as if tired but satisfied. The council station erupted in shock. Some aliens began cheering. Some cried in disbelief. Some fell to their knees, overwhelmed. The council leader whispered with trembling lips. They saved us. They saved billions." A young alien asked the question everyone feared to answer. If humans can do this, what else can they do? But another voice spoke from behind them. It was the human envoy. "Our strength is not meant to frighten you," he said softly. "It is meant to protect, to heal, to guide." The council members stared at him with wide, humble eyes. "Why?" one finally asked. "Why protect us after everything we did?" The human looked out at the fading storm. "Because we learned something in the darkness," he answered quietly. "Power without mercy destroys. But power with compassion saves." The aliens could not respond. Not because they feared humans, but because they finally understood them. Humanity's greatest power was not technology. Not ships. Not shields. It was the strength to choose mercy over vengeance. The galaxy had seen human kindness. Now they had seen human strength. And they realized something that sent chills through every species. If humans wanted to rule, no one could stop them. But humans chose to save instead. And that choice changed everything. The alien council hall was silent when the human envoy finally stood before them. For days they had watched humans rebuild cities, heal the injured, and calm entire star systems. But no one understood why. Every species waited for the truth, some with hope, some with fear. The envoy, a calm woman with bright eyes, looked around the hall. Her voice was soft, but it carried across the huge chamber with surprising strength. "You want to know why we returned," she said, not accusing, not angry. Just honest. The aliens shifted uncomfortably. Old guilt weighed heavy. They had abandoned Earth long ago. Back then humans were weak, divided, and slow to grow. When the great disaster came, the alien alliance chose to save themselves. They took their ships, their technology, and fled into deep space. Humanity was left behind like a forgotten problem. And now, centuries later, those same humans were here, strong, advanced, almost beyond understanding. The council leader spoke first. His voice trembled. "We betrayed you. Left you to die. Yet you return with healing, not vengeance. Why? The envoy smiled, but there was sadness in it. She walked forward and touched a glowing panel on the floor. It projected an image of ancient Earth, burned cities, broken nations, people struggling in dust. Yes, she said. You left. And for a long time we suffered. The aliens lowered their eyes. The image changed. People helping each other, rebuilding small shelters together, sharing food, protecting children. It showed humans refusing to give up. But we learned something important, she continued. Pain can make you cruel, or it can make you kind. We chose kindness. She explained how humanity had slowly rebuilt itself without alien help. How neighbors saved neighbors. How villages protected strangers. How every generation grew stronger not by force but by unity. The aliens began to understand, humans had not simply survived, they had evolved through compassion. The next hologram appeared, human starships glowing with warm, gentle energy. Nothing sharp. Nothing violent. Technology shaped not for war but for life. Our science grew with our hearts, the envoy said. We discovered that mercy creates deeper strength than any weapon. The council members exchanged stunned looks. They lived in a galaxy where power meant domination, fear, and competition. But humans had taken a different path, one no species had imagined possible. The envoy continued. We did not come to punish you. We came because we remember how it feels to be abandoned. And we do not want any world to feel that again. Those words hit the aliens like a soft storm, gentle but unstoppable. One young alien scholar stood and asked, "But, how did you forgive us? We left you in darkness." The envoy looked at him with kindness. Darkness teaches you which light is real. We learned to create our own light. She explained how humans discovered a new type of energy, one tied to cooperation. Ships powered by collective intention. Medicine that responded to emotional harmony. Cities shaped by shared dreams. Humanity's greatest strength was not technology, it was connection. Then the final hologram appeared, a giant network of human stations stretching across dead star sectors, bringing life back to collapsed civilizations. Humans were already helping other abandoned species long before returning to the galaxy that once rejected them. A whisper moved through the council chamber. They saved others, even before saving themselves. The envoy nodded. We came to offer the same help to you. Not because you deserve it, but because we choose who we want to be. Silence. Deep, emotional silence. Then she added the line that would be remembered across the galaxy for centuries. Strength is not about hurting those who hurt you. Strength is choosing a better future than the past you survived. Some aliens wiped tears. Others bowed their heads. For the first time, they understood that humanity was not powerful despite mercy. Humanity was powerful because of it. The envoy stepped back and finished. This is our truth. This is why we returned. Not for revenge, but for a new beginning. And in that moment, the entire galaxy realized it. Humanity had become something greater than anyone expected. Not rulers, not warriors, but guides. A species strong enough to forgive and brave enough to heal. The alien council chamber remained silent long after the human envoy finished speaking. Her words moved through the hall like a warm wind, soft but impossible to ignore. Every species present, warriors, scientists, diplomats, felt something they had not felt in centuries. Hope. For the first time they saw humanity not as a forgotten species. Not as a threat returning for revenge. But as a light shining through the cracks of a broken galaxy. The council leader rose slowly from his seat. His voice was quieter, softer than ever before. Humanity, he said, you show us a path we never imagined. A path of healing. If you wish to guide the galaxy, then we welcome you. The words echoed across the massive hall. The human envoy bowed her head respectfully. We do not seek to lead, she said. We only seek to help. A new dawn must belong to everyone. And with that simple line, everything changed. The first gesture of unity. The council invited the humans to share their knowledge. For the first time in history, alien scientists stood beside human engineers, studying the warm, glowing core of a human starship. Instead of weapons, they found tools for life, energy shields for disaster zones, medical pods that cured diseases in minutes, and terraforming drones that could restore dead planets. Aliens were shocked. Humans did not hide anything. Every blueprint, every system, every method was shared openly. One alien doctor whispered, "They give without fear. They trust us." The galaxy had never seen this kind of generosity. A galaxy begins to heal. Word spread quickly. Across thousands of star systems, alien citizens watched holos of humans rebuilding worlds with gentle precision. Cities destroyed by war rose again in days. Poisoned oceans were purified. Lost colonies were rediscovered and rescued. Everywhere, one message appeared on screens in every language. You are not alone. Humanity walks with you. Civilizations that once hated each other now stood together as humans guided them toward cooperation. Old enemies shook hands. Broken alliances were rebuilt. The galaxy, for the first time in centuries, felt peaceful. Humanity's greatest gift. But it wasn't just technology. It wasn't just healing. Humanity brought something far more powerful. A new way of thinking. Humans taught them that peace was not weakness. Compassion was not surrender. Mercy was not foolish. It was evolution. A small alien child asked a human teacher, "Why do you help us? Didn't we hurt you long ago?" The teacher knelt down and replied with a gentle smile. "Because someone must break the cycle. We decided it would be us." That message spread faster than any fleet ever could. A new galactic council. 3 months later, the old council called a final meeting. This time humans were not guests. They were honored seats at the table. The leader announced, "The galaxy needs a new start. A new council. A council of unity." Every species agreed. Humans did not demand control. They did not ask for repayment. They simply offered to help design a system where no species would ever be abandoned again. A system where every race had a voice and every world had protection. And so, the United Galactic Horizon Alliance was created. A new government built on cooperation, mercy, and shared progress. At its center stood humanity, not as rulers but as guides and protectors. The final moment. On the day the new alliance was announced, a massive ceremony was broadcast across the galaxy. Billions watched as the human envoy stood on the central platform, beside leaders of every species. She looked out at the countless lights of starships circling the ceremony station. Ships from every corner of the galaxy, once divided, now united. Her final words became legendary. "The galaxy abandoned us once. But we never abandoned hope. Today we choose a future where no one is left behind again. This is the new dawn, and we step into it together." The crowd, alien and human, rose as one. Ships ignited their engines, forming a brilliant ring of light around the station. Planets celebrated in every language. Children cheered. The old world ended and a new one began. In that shining moment, every species realized the truth. Humanity's greatest power was never their technology. It was their heart. And with that, the galaxy entered a new age. Guided by a species who proved that mercy was the strongest force in the universe.